If you've been grinding nonstop since the breakup and still feel empty, it's probably not burnout. It's an identity crisis. I'm Dr. Eric Eck. I'm a men's health physician licensed in 14 states. I help men rebuild after collapse, not by working harder, but by restoring clarity, presence, and power. Today, I'll show you how high-functioning men get trapped in the grind and why their deepest fatigue isn't physical. It's identity level. Austin looked like a machine. Woke up at 4:30, cold plunge, gym, business scaling, clean eating. His friends called him disciplined. Women called him focused. But inside, he was wiped out. He told me, if I stop moving, I'll break down. That's not high performance. That's emotional debt with good branding. When your movement is a mask, stillness becomes a threat. Austin wasn't healing. He was overcompensating. Not because he was weak, but because he never grieved his collapse. He thought output would rebuild identity. But without alignment, effort just becomes exhaustion. Most men aren't just tired. They're misaligned. They've built a routine for a version of themselves they don't even relate to anymore. You feel off, not because of your habits, but because your identity hasn't caught up with your environment. And here's the trap. Collapse happens. Divorce, betrayal, loss. Man overcorrects. New routines, harder grind, external wins. He feels worse. So he doubles down. Burnout, breakdown, or numbness. The grind becomes self-abandonment with productivity metrics. Your identity is screaming for integration, but all of your energy is going to performance. Brian rebuilt everything 3 times, 3 breakups, 3 relocations, 3 reinventions. Each time he came back faster, bigger, sharper. But one day he sat on the edge of his bed and said, I don't know who I'm being strong for anymore. That's when we realized he wasn't rebuilding. He was just avoiding. Every time he leveled up, he skipped the question, what version of me am I actually trying to become? You can't build momentum if the blueprint keeps changing. Brian didn't need more strategy. He needed stability, stillness, honesty, because performance without identity is collapse in disguise. The solution to exhaustion isn't more productivity. It's congruence. Congruence is when your actions match your values. When your routines reinforce who you actually are, not who you're afraid of being. And most men skip this step because identity work feels soft. But in reality, it's the hardest thing you'll ever do. Congruence is quiet power. It doesn't chase, it radiates. When your identity aligns, you don't burn out. You stabilize. You don't hustle for validation. You move from clarity. You stop reacting and start designing. Marcus had success, money, relationships, results, but still felt unfulfilled. So we paused everything. No gym, no work expansion, no new dating, just space. In that space, Marcus rediscovered who he was without output. And from that identity, he rebuilt slower, smaller, but stronger. Now, he's still successful, but he doesn't sprint for approval. He doesn't fear weekends. He doesn't confuse exhaustion for progress. When you stop proving, you start building. That's what congruence feels like. Calm, clear, centered, powerful. If you're constantly grinding and still feel tired, it's not a hustle problem. It's an identity crisis in disguise. Your routines are valid, but they're incomplete because they were built to outrun collapse, not rise from it. What you need now isn't more pressure. It's alignment. Sit still long enough to ask the real questions. Who am I becoming? Who am I serving? And what do I need that I've been too busy to feel. That's where your next level begins. Not from momentum, from alignment. Your energy returns when your identity lands.